Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. It is now 6:02 in Hampton County, and time for Hampton County Council's October 3rd, 2022 council meeting to be called to order. And I'll ask Mr. Williams if he'll lead us in our invocation, and Mr. Bishop if he'll lead us in the pledge, please. Would you join us?
Let us pray. Most heavenly and gracious Father, we want to thank you for all the many blessings that you bestowed upon us. Lord, we give you all the honor and glory. Thank you for protection, and just keep us in your will. As we go before you tonight, give us the wisdom to make the right decisions on behalf of this county and its citizens. And we want to thank everybody that didn't thought it was a robbery to come out to this meeting. And as we leave, give us safe traveling mercy. All these blessings in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, gentlemen. Brings us down to item 3, approval of agenda. 3.1, Hampton County Council, October 3rd, 2022 meeting agenda. How would council like to handle that item?
I move that we approve the agenda as presented.
You heard the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded. All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Opposed likewise. The ayes have it. Item 4, public hearings. We have no public hearings this evening. Item 5, resolutions and proclamations. Item 5.1, a resolution recognizing Linda Kearse, Director, Hampton County Council on Aging. Do we have a plaque or a resolution?
Right behind you.
Oh, you got 3 of them behind you.
That's not it. State of South Carolina, County of Hampton, resolution number R 2022-011, a resolution recognizing Ms. Marie, excuse me, I'm sorry, I need Miss Linda Kearse.
That's it.
Okay. Ms. Linda Kearse on her retirement with over 30 years of service in Hampton County Council on Aging. And whereas Ms. Kearse served with dignity, respect, and was diligent in her duties, and whereas Ms. Kearse has contributed her knowledge, wisdom, patience, kindness, and understanding to the citizens of Hampton County, especially the seniors, and now therefore members of Hampton County Council do hereby recognize and thank and congratulate Ms. Linda Kearse, Director, Hampton County Council on Aging, on her retirement, and wish her a happy and healthy retirement. Adopted this 3rd day of October 2022. Allie Newton, Clerk to Council, Buddy Phillips, Darren Williams, Roy Hollingsworth, Clay Bishop, and Noah Alexander, Councilman. I'm trying to decide whether we're going to present this now, whether we're going to do some presentations in a minute. Let's do that.
Mr. Chairman, I believe we need to make a motion.
Yeah.
I move that we adopt this resolution.
Okay, you heard the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded that we approve this resolution. All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Opposed likewise. The ayes have it. I'm going to present this to them when we do it all at once in just a minute. Mr. A.G. Solomons. Okay,
I get
thank
Got
you.
it.
State of South Carolina, County of Hampton, Resolution R 2022-0012, a resolution recognizing the Honorable Algernon Solomons Jr. on his retirement as Hampton County Magistrate. Whereas Hampton County Council would like to recognize the Honorable Algernon Solomons Jr., Magistrate, Hampton County, as appointed by the Governor of South Carolina for 42 years of judicial service. And whereas the Honorable Algernon G. Solomons received his first appointment in 1980, and whereas the Honorable Algernon Solomons Jr. has served the citizens of Hampton County in a fair and equitable manner as magistrate, and whereas the Honorable Algernon Solomons Jr. has contributed his knowledge, his fairness, wisdom, patience, kindness, and understanding to all citizens of Hampton County, and now therefore members of Hampton County Council do hereby recognize, thank, congratulate, and wish the Honorable Algernon Solomons Jr. a happy, healthy, and blessed retirement as magistrate. This adopted this third day of October 2022. Eileen Newton Clerk, Buddy Phillips, Darren Williams, Roy Hollingsworth, Clay Bishop, and Noah Alexander as counsel. Howard,
I move that we adopt this resolution as presented.
you heard the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded that we approve this resolution. All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Opposed likewise. The ayes have it. Yeah, this one right here.
Yep.
State of South Carolina, County of Hampton, Resolution Number R 2022-00011, a resolution recognizing Ms. Marie Cruz on her retirement as Director of Hampton County Council on Aging. Whereas Hampton County Council would like to recognize Ms. Marie Cruz on her retirement with over 30 years. Excuse me?
Clerk Magistrate.
See if that's the right one.
Let me see if this is the right one.
This one says Ms. Marie, well, that says Marie Cruz.
She got two of them?
Well,
What does it say though? Magistrate.
it says Ms. Cruz here. Apparently it's an error.
Magistrate, there was an error on that one. That's the right one.
Yeah. This one is Marie Cruz and Marie Cruz here. So this one I think is the right one.
Mm-hmm.
Ms.
Magistrate.
Cruz all the way through. Okay. State of South Carolina, County of Hampton, Resolution Number R 2022-013, a resolution recognizing Ms. Marie Cruz on her retirement as clerk, Hampton County Magistrate's Office. Whereas Hampton County Council would like to recognize Ms. Marie Cruz on her retirement with over 40 years of service as clerk in the Magistrate's Office, and whereas Ms. Cruz served with dignity, respect, and was diligent in her duties, and whereas Ms. Cruz has contributed to her knowledge, wisdom, patience, kindness, and understanding to the citizens of Hampton County, and now therefore members of the Hampton County Council do hereby recognize, thank, and congratulate Ms. Marie Cruz, Clerk, Hampton County Magistrate's Office, on her retirement and wish her a happy and healthy retirement. Adopted this third day of October 2022, attested by Eileen Newton, Clerk to Council, Hampton County Council, Buddy Phillips, Darren Williams, Roy Hollingsworth, Clay Bishop, and Noah Alexander as councilman. How would council like to deal with this?
I move that we adopt this resolution as presented.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded that we adopt the resolution. All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Opposed likewise, the ayes have it. Let me see where we are here on the agenda.
Go ahead. Take public comment.
Okay.
He's not here. Have you heard anything else from him?
As I mentioned a while ago, I'm going to present those when we present the I apologize, folks, I'm sorry. We do the presentations. Next item, on the agenda is item number
6.1.
number 6, 6.1, public comments. Mr. Newton McMillan, regarding EMS.
Mr. McMillan's not here.
Right, could I make a comment on that, if it's okay with
Mr. Hollingsworth.
Chairman? Mr. Chairman, I had a conversation, telephone conversation with Mr. McMillan today, and he informed me that he will not be giving a public comment, but he shared some things with me, and I told him that I would follow up on it.
Okay. Any other?
Ms.
Sign up
Michael
for
has signed in, but we have you on the agenda further down as a presentation. So, Ms. Camille Welch.
Good evening, Ms. Welch.
Good evening.
Good afternoon, Council. How are you?
Good.
On May 23rd, I attended a gymnastics showcase at the Hampton County Recreation Department in Barnville. As we sat in a hot, overcrowded, upstairs room full of parents, grandparents, and gymnastic equipment, an afternoon thunderstorm came through. The lights flickered and went out momentarily. When the lights came back on, water was pouring down an interior wall of the room we were in. The showcase had to be moved downstairs onto the gym floor to conclude the performance. Needless to say, all who attended were gravely concerned about the safety of the children and adults who work in and participate in activities being held in the rec center. As a result, a parent-organized petition began circulating requesting the condition and safety of the Recreation Department be looked into and inspected. The petition was delivered to the town of Barnville a few days later. It is my understanding the county inspector and county fire marshal both inspected and passed the Recreation Department with a small list of minor infractions. However, due to the petition and out of great concern over the safety of the occupants of the building, the town of Barnville requested an independent third-party inspection company to come and conduct its own inspection of the wreck. Again, it is my understanding the inspection concluded the Recreation Department is not safety compliant and issued a notice of a 45-day window to address the infractions. The county was sent formal notice of the inspection findings and a county employee signed for the letter. The 45-day period ended September 28th. In the interest of keeping the public informed, I would like an update on the status of the corrections being done to make the rec department safety compliant.
Thank you.
That's all.
Okay. That brings us down to item 7, approval of minutes. 7.1, August 29th, 2022, Hampton County Special Meeting Minutes. What's the pleasure of council?
Mr. Chairman, I had a chance to look over the minutes for August 29th, and I didn't see any issues that concern those minutes. So I make a motion that we approve them.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded that we approve the August 29th, 2022 Hampton County minutes. All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Opposed likewise. The ayes have it. Item 7.2, September 19th, 2022, Hampton County Council meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I had a chance to review the September 19th, 2022 minutes. There is one correction that needs to be made where it listed us as who all attended. They had me by way of conference call, and I was in person.
Okay. You've heard the motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded that we approve the September 19th, 2022 Hampton County Council meeting minutes with the change. All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Opposed likewise. The ayes have it. Brings us down to number 8.1, presentation to retired employee, Ms. Linda Kiss, Hampton County Council on Aging Director. Ms. Kiss, would you come forward, please?
Good evening.
How you doing this afternoon? That's good. Ms. Linda Kiss started as a site manager for Hampton County Council on Aging on July the 31st, 1991. Ms. Kiss worked for her way to bookkeeper well, when the new state computerized system went into place. She received calls from many other councils on aging, organizing for help. Ms. Kiss became interim director on May 2nd, 2019, then became director just a few months later. She decided to retire, and her retirement was effective June 30th, 2022. 31 years of experience. Ms. Kiss, we can't thank you enough. If would the council come with me and let's get a picture of this.
I believe yours is in the middle, Miss Linda. While council's coming around, I'd like to tell y'all she had planned on retiring 2 years before she did. And I begged her to stay. And I'm glad she did. And yours must be the one on the other end.
This
Sorry.
one? It's this one? Yeah, slide it out, wait.
Well, let's say when she took over as director, the organization was in financial issues, and she straightened it out.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Miss Linda, I'll bring you yours tomorrow. Chair. Truck? All right, that's even better. I think y'all may as well just come around and stay out front.
Allergies gonna crack a little bit. We gotta get another one.
That brings us down to item number 8.2, presentation to retired employees. Honorable Algernon G. Solomons, Jr., Ms. Marie Cruz, Hampton County Magistrate's Office. I'm assuming, do you want to do these together? You have them written together here. Madam Clerk.
Well, they're separate.
Excuse me?
They're separate.
Let's do it
Yes, sir.
separate. Okay.
Unless they want to pull the rocking chairs together and we can get them together.
Ladies and gentlemen, Algernon Algie Solomon was appointed as a part-time magistrate for Hampton County on July 17, 1978. That's before I was born, Algie.
January the 3rd, 1980. I became the county attorney in 78 after
Okay.
George Warren.
I'm just reading what I've got.
He got
He has
80.
served the citizens of Hampton County well, even with his office being a part-time. It averaged having one of the highest revenue reporting. Also, never during his tenure has his office had any auditing issues. Upon retirement on June the 30th, 2022, Algie had 44 years of experience. Is that right?
42 with magistrate. Bruce County.
Well, we certainly appreciate all you've done for us, and we hope your retirement's going to be great. You want to, let's go ahead and, yeah, let's do
I think y'all may as well come around front and just do the other one out front. That'd make it easier.
Yeah.
Get that to him. Slide it. We're gonna have to get you another one made, cause when you drop it, crack the glass.
Yeah,
Hold that.
you need it.
I'm glad they put algae on.
It crack the glass when it.
That's all right. Thank you.
Make sure we get that back for you. Okay. We're gonna have that replaced for you. Okay. No, don't say that.
All I want to say is it's been an honor and privilege to serve folks in Hampton County the last 42 years. I took the lead vows as the magistrate serving at the time. He resigned to run for the Senate in 1980, and that's when I took over the position. You will recognize a lady that has been with me the whole time. She did all the work. I was just the face of it.
Anybody had to go before him in the last 30 years knows that. Anybody got a speeding ticket in the last 30 years on that side of the county knows who did the work.
Ms. Cruz, would you come forward, please? Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Marie Cruz, by her her good fortune of going to work with Algie, became an employee of Hampton County on July 1st, 1983. Taking on the duties of magistrate clerk upon Ms. Maria's retirement, date of June the 30th, 2022, she had 39 years of service. We thank you so much for all you've done for us.
And I can't believe you put up with Algie for 30 that long. Just as magistrate, but as magistrate and the other.
Which one is it? It'll be all right. It might be sent off right here.
Just as you, well, you
Come on.
stand in front of that one.
You can stand in front. We'll get behind you. Yeah, hold that.
Cover your face, Marie. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. That's good.
That brings us down to item 8.3, presentation and a request from the Honorable Gwen Bampfield, Chief Magistrate, regarding centralization of the magistrates' courts. Judge, come forward, please. How you doing tonight?
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Before I even begin to talk about that, the centralization, I want to just publicly thank Judge Solomon for his mentorship and his friendship and his always knowing that when I didn't know the answer to something, I had someone to call. So I appreciate that. And just as he's retired officially, that doesn't mean I still won't call. I want to thank him and also Mr. Reed, because oftentimes we know that the clerks help a lot to make things easy for the judges. So I thank Marie too. I'm moving in another direction, would like to centralize the magistrate court now. We have a court room. We hired a part-time clerk. We have a replacement, not really a replacement, but we have Judge Marion Berry, who's taken on as a part-time magistrate now and working with us. And so to make things more efficient, to increase the ability to run the office more effectively, we have asked court administration to consider centralizing the court so that we're not split in the county and that we have one magistrate court in operation. It will also help with not only the court management of cases, but also will help with the cost effectiveness of the magistrate department as a whole. And so I'm just presenting that. I've discussed it with court administration, and they asked that I come and make a presentation to the council in that regard. And so that's why I'm here this evening.
Have any questions of Judge Banfield?
I've got one. Would that mean that there would be the magistrate's office in Estill would be closed down?
Well, the magistrate office in Estill was actually the office of Judge Solomon.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So the only magistrates would be centralized in Hampton, the town of Hampton. Okay.
Judge
We'll work
Banfield.
on that one location.
Okay.
But we have the space, we have the personnel now, that we have a part-time clerk, and we're working feverishly to take care of the mandate of the Chief Justice to take care of all of the cases on the docket that all around the state got put to the side a little bit because of COVID, so we're now working to make sure that in our section of the state at least, that we're not having backlog of cases.
Judge Banfield, counsel, any other questions?
Got one more. Would it be in centralized, you just have one courtroom there in Hampton, correct?
Yes.
Would that be adequate to keep up with the caseload of the entire county?
Yes. Since Judge Solomon, even a couple months before he retired, we began to take in those cases, especially from the troopers that work that area. And so we now have identified with the law enforcement which days, who comes to court this morning or afternoon. So we're pretty much doing it already.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Judge Banfield, counsel will take this under consideration, and we'll get back to you.
All right.
Thank you for your presentation. Brings us down to item 8.4. Ms. Hannah Priester and Mr. Jack Hutto, Hampton County School District, regarding the new high school and the $25 million referendum. Welcome.
Good
folks.
evening.
Good afternoon, Chair, and,
Seeing you two looks, sounds like old times.
oh, yes, sir, yes, sir, my old boss sitting there. Yes, sir. Mr. Chair, Chairman Phillips, and the trustees of the Hampton County, we're here tonight to humbly ask you to help us with the $25 million referendum. The Honorable Molly Spellman came down and gave us $52 million, and I'm sure that we all we want to do the best we can for Hampton County. Paraphrasing Abraham Lincoln, they may not remember what we said, but they remember what we did. What we did. And we are humbly asking you to work with us so we can build a high school for our students, a brand new high school. Now, I don't want to take, Mr. Hutto is here tonight, and he's going to do the heavy lifting. I'm the cheerleader. I came to tell you that we all working together in Hampton County, and we have some ideas, some plans, and we want you to share that with us. And please, we know that all things are possible if we believe. We can do it. We did, I'll make it brief, I don't have a long time. I did segregation. I did desegregation. We did the middle school concept. We can do consolidation. We can do this. Hampton County can do this. We can do it. We good people. We'll make it happen. Mr. Huddle will give you all the information, and if you got some questions, we'd be glad to answer. But we are humble. We humbly come to you. We come with a humble heart because it's for the children. Mr. Huddle?
And thank you, Chairman Phillips and council members, for allowing Ms. Priester and myself just to have a few minutes just to come and give you some background information also. We believe we have been given a significant opportunity to provide change, not for now, but for the next probably 50 years. Ms. Priester and I were talking, that definitely I feel like we'll outlive maybe most of us in the building, but anyway, but that's a good thing. We're grateful for the opportunity, for the challenge that we have to provide that opportunity for our children and for generations to come. Just to give you some background information, beginning with the 2023-2024 school year, we are consolidating the current high schools, which are in Hampton County. That's Estill High School and Wade Hampton High School. We had a facility study done, but actually two facility studies that were done, both by the state and the district, and the results from both of those studies was that we needed to strongly look at our buildings. Most of our buildings have aged out. I think in engineering terms they call it live beyond its existence, if you will. The current Wade Hampton High School is 68 years old. The current enrollment is 510 students. Estill High School is 34 years old and with a current 189 students. We have a teacher shortage currently, not only us in Hampton County, but I imagine there probably aren't many districts in the state and maybe even the nation that are having those same kind of concerns. And we want to provide the potential for opportunities for all children in Hampton County. And right now we can't do that, operating two facilities, one with about 189 students, one with 500, and having a shortage. So by combining those schools, we're going to see increased opportunities for children. I told you about the facilities study, and so as a result, it's been recommended that we replace the Wade Hampton High School. Now, you say, well, how will we put students in there beginning with 2020-23 school year? That is a temporary location. We are going to rebrand that location as Hampton County High School. They will be actually home of the Hurricanes. And so that will happen, of course, like I said, next school year, as we make plans to build a new comprehensive high school is what we would like to do. A comprehensive high school will allow us to have state-of-the-art academic facilities, athletic facilities, a career and technology center, an auditorium, which will not only benefit the school, but also we anticipate that something that will benefit the community as well, like I said, for years to come. I think I've shared with you, we've seen with our current facilities, we are continuing to really put Band-Aid on situations. Constant HVAC, Mr. Williams works at Wade Hampton High School. He could certainly probably shed some light on that even. Constantly making repairs, and that we're just going to continue to see that. Therefore, we are planning to build that new consolidated high school. The district has agreed to purchase 62 acres of land out at the intersection of 601 and Pocatello Road. Right for those on our listening audience, that's out near, right across the road, I guess, from the radio station. It's been estimated that a comprehensive high school would cost approximately $70 to $80 million. Like I said, it will include those things that I mentioned, the career and technology, athletic complex, an auditorium, to support a target enrollment of around 900 students and allow for some growth as well. So the question that everyone, of course, is on all of our minds is how do we pay for that? Well, the state, of course, has given $52 million. I don't know, I haven't ever heard of that amount of money coming into this county to my knowledge. So that is a gift, and we are so grateful for that. But because of the need to build that comprehensive high school, we are going to be requesting a bond referendum issue of an additional $25 million to support the cost of building that new facility. And so the question that is going to be on everyone's mind is that how are we going to pay for that? And I do want to speak about that the district's current debt service millage rate is 44 mills, and our financial advisors have looked at this, and they believe that with our annual payment with the current 44 mills, that we will be able to pay that referendum off. The district's current debt is approximately $9.5 million, and that it's paid annually at an annual amount about $2 million per year. So that should be paid over the next, I believe, 7 to 9 years. Once that is paid, that we have a little bit of leeway in the current millage debt service to begin the repayment, and then of course once the current debt is paid, the current debt, by the way, it was for the what we know as the current North District Middle School and the Estill Middle School. Once that's paid, then we will be able to pay larger amounts toward the consolidated high school. You'll see some information, additional information on the handout that I gave to you, and I think the public has this as well, about that. But the debt service plan does not include a tax increase. And so that's the one thing that we want to speak about, and we hope that if you all are in agreement with us, that you'll speak that and help us spread that message throughout the county. There's a timeline. I won't necessarily go through that, but you'll see that on your information about the timeline and about what that looks like. I will say that the state has tried to do a great job of assisting districts. They actually have developed some prototypes for schools. And so rather than have to do some of the upfront work that would have to be done, architectural work and those type things, a lot of that has already been done. And so the district will basically be choosing a prototype, but then making some adjustments based on the needs of Hampton County High School and Hampton County itself. And so at this point, I will certainly do my best to answer questions. If I don't know the answer, maybe Ms. Priester or we'll do our best to find out the answer. But mainly, we just wanted to share the opportunity, talk about the district's plans, and provide information, and that's what we're trying to do here tonight. So thank you for allowing us to speak.
Any questions for Mr. Hutto or Ms.
I got a couple questions, and I'll follow with a comment.
Yes.
First of all, I applaud you all for, what you just said. You predicted you'll be able to do this with no raise of taxes with your existing millage. And that leads me into my question, do you have a grace period to start paying back the $25 million bond?
Yes, and so actually we won't, because we have the initial $52 million, we won't even borrow from the $25 million until the initial $52 million has been spent. So that may be a number of years down the road, but we have to have the borrowing power to access those funds.
And so the plan is to have the current debt paid off before you have to start making payments on the new debt.
It's my understanding, I can certainly get some clarification, that we would actually start paying the debt off, but at a smaller amount, and then once that debt is, the current debt is completely paid, then we would of course pay that larger amount. Is that correct?
Yes, and it's fun because we're gonna close, if we close SL Elementary School, that's $2 million right there.
Mm-hmm.
$2 million. We got schools that are open, and to clarify some things that some rumors that's going around. Well, y'all gonna take our children and put them on a bus at 4 o'clock in the morning? We are not gonna do that. There'll be Estill High School, middle school, will become the elementary up to 8th grade. And the high school be here, we have to become Hampton County High School. We will change the face of it, continue cosmetic. And we will not close all schools on the south side. We will not do that. I wouldn't want to put a child from Cherry Grove, where I come from, out in the woods, and sit in the garden. So I would do the same thing for my child. That would be for your child, everybody else's child. So therefore, we will not be doing that. And when we close one school, and we're going to close most schools, we have to do it. And I'm telling you the truth. We're going to have to do it. And people get that job because they're the shortest teachers throughout the nation. And so the teachers throughout. So when we get together, we'll have enough to do it. And if Hampton County is going to grow, I live in Hampton County, and I pay taxes too. If we have to, taxes should not go up because if you get the QSAP bonds and you know how that works. If we can low interest bonds and stuff, she bought us $52 million. Now we can build a school $50 million, but it won't be the kind of school we want because if we leave in Hampton, somebody else want to use it. We haven't got a lot going for us. But if we leave there and build a nice school, our children deserve it. Our county deserves it. And think about the people who want to move to Hampton County. They look for two things. If I was going to move somewhere, I'd look for two things. Crime and education. And I think we can do both. I know we can. We know we can. Oh, yes, we can. We can do it.
I got two more quick questions for you. And you just led me into the one, so I'm going to change the order of my questions. What is the estimated time on a bus for a child in Garnet to the new proposed school?
If it's up to the new,
Yes, ma'am.
I would say less than an hour.
Okay,
We don't want a child on a bus 2 hours.
that's right.
Even if we had one charter bus. Now we rode, and I'm gonna tell you this, we went to Tennessee to see some of the work that some of the architects did. We went on that black and white school bus. And somebody said, no, y'all didn't. No, yes, we did. We rode that bus. We didn't get a charter bus. And I'm saying less than an hour. A child should be on a bus for 3 or 4 hours. We wouldn't do that.
I agree. And then my last question was, and this was, everybody's been asking me, so I'm going to ask y'all. With your current consolidation plan, as it is, what do you expect the annual operational savings will be?
We never gonna save $2 million on that. We would close that school. And we probably gonna close, and then we're gonna close some more. But we haven't decided which one, and for that time, we know we gotta close schools on the south side and the north side. So when we close those schools, when we get the new school built, every time we close a school, and Mr. Phillips hadn't been in education for umpteen years, you know, every time we close a school, we gonna save $2 million. He may have all that, run the school and repairs and all. We can do it. And the people and this is what happened. We knew 7, 8 years ago this was coming. And they had 5 school districts targeted. And when they targeted those school districts, they said, if you go first, you can get the part of money. They had millions out there. So Hampton County got smart. He said, we're not going to make them force us to do it. We just going to do it. And that's how we got the $52 million. Only 2 school districts did it out of 5. We knew it was going to happen. That's like the blue line on you. The blue line, you know where to stop. Because they're going to get you anyway. We knew it was coming. Therefore, we went on and did it. And then the Spelman kept her word. I don't know why the Spelman kept her word. She came down here and bought 3 years. Now, do we have enough? I don't want to do it.
And then I got a comment, and I'll pass on to my fellows here. But about 4 years ago, I attended a meeting in Columbia, and I heard some of the rhetoric what y'all were saying. And what I was hearing at that point was we could either consolidate and get a bunch of money to assist, or they would make us do it, and we could figure out how to pay for it.
Thank you.
So I applaud you all for what you've done, the efforts, and you said a very key word. Our children deserve this facility. So thank you all.
Thank you.
One of my friends recently said, of course, I was a Ray Hampton alumni, love it just as much as anybody else, but she said, one of the saddest things is that we send our children to students across in the next county, the region, the state, and they go and see the opportunities that are in those counties, and then they compare to the opportunities and facilities that we have here, and we need to do better for our children.
We should. When I see my granddaughter sit in the orchestra in Richmond too, playing the violin on the orchestra, okay? And I see the opportunity they have there. I look back and say, why can't they have it here? It's gonna be different country. We smart people. Thank you, sir. We smart. We did. Hey, we got the money, and we go to school. And thank you for having me.
Any other questions?
Yeah. Go ahead.
How many students do you have in the district now?
In the district, we're about 2,500.
Okay, any other questions for
Mr. Hollingsworth.
Yes, I have a question. I'm gonna be very optimistic about it. I noticed you said you estimated the cost to be anywhere from 70 to 80 mil. Already look on the positive side, the 80 mil, and I noticed that what the funding is at 77 million. would love to see the 80 mil. Okay, because of inflation, we don't know what construction cost is going to be. Chances are it's going up instead of coming down. If it comes down like a feather. If it comes down, it goes up, just like gas. Okay, so I would like, hopefully, that you can get the 80 mil. Yeah. Yeah, they do deserve it. They do deserve it. They do deserve it. And if you're going to do it, the next time you do this here, it won't be during my lifetime. Okay, so let's do it. Let's try to get all we can get, you know, and do the best that we could do with the money that we do have. And I'm looking at 80 mil.
Any other questions?
A comment, question. First of all, I want to say thank you for coming. I love, like you said, unity across the board. That is key. And I'm going to say that again, it's key. Whether it be with the school district, other towns, employees that work for Hampton County, citizens, it's key. But I did want to ask, do you all have any plans on what you're going to do with the Wade Hampton site as it is now after you move?
We've had some people talk before to us, and we had some good ideas, and we want to do what's best for Hampton County.
And I heard that the last, you appointed a committee, right?
Yes, we have a committee. We're going back to the facility committee, and the facility committee will look and let people come present. But we've had some people come with good ideas. I want to have. I'm positive.
Me too.
I'm positive. I think I know Hampton County good. We smart. We can do it.
That's right. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Yes, Mr. Buddy.
Okay.
You know, I talk to a lot of people, and I'm somewhat all over the county. And just listening at the different perceptions, I think the people, you know, you got some people stuck in their way. I'm gonna be straight up with you. You got some people stuck in their way, but it's not about the adults. It's about the kids. And we got to put something in place for our job growth. And with this new career technology and the new facilities that we are thriving to go for, I pray that, you know, this come to fruition and we can come together as a county.
We need you.
Because it's not about us adults, it's about those kids. And that's the only way this county is going to survive unless we get the technology up and no flat roofs.
No flat roof. I didn't ask that. We did.
If you get a flat roof,
No. It rains when you there.
Thank you. I've been in it for a while watching flat roofs leak.
No flat roof. You know,
Give me a,
we looked at some schools,
Okay.
and we rode that bus, the bus to Tennessee, not a charge bus. And the deputy, our resource officer, he followed the bus, and the bus is black and white. We look like some criminals. Thank y'all.
Well, it sounds like council's on board with you, and we certainly wish you luck.
Yes, sir.
Let us know if we can help in any way.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
okay.
That brings us, excuse me. Okay. Well, y'all did him proud, so.
And tell them what we're doing. Because there's some false things out there. You won't put my child on the bus at 4 o'clock. I wouldn't do anything to your child that I would do to my child. And you know that. And you know that. We would do that. And you know that. We ought to do that. So we go around to all the counties for you, and we can all tell them and ask the question, and I'm going to tell you the truth. That's all I got. I'm ready to you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
That brings us down to item 8.5, Ms. Loretta Darien regarding request for a representative to serve on the committee, an explanation of McKinley Vento.
Good evening.
Ms. Darien, how are you?
Yes, my name is Elise Michael. I'm in her statue. Like
I got you.
she went to get her. It is very important with this program that we've been funding money from the American Rescue Program. I'm praying that we show what we've done. So I didn't get your signatures before I began. I'm going to get your signatures to make certain that whatever I have to present to them, it is correct, okay?
Okay.
So I'm gonna pass this around and I just need your signatures.
Would you submit that to our clerk for us?
Excuse me?
Just hand it to our clerk, she'll pass them around.
Thank you, that's, thank you. And this is something else here. That's something that we need posted. And that's the signatures, yes. Thank you very much. The program, the Kenny Vento program, is a program to aid the homeless. We have children in this, we are actually serving about 150 children right now. And Ms. Daring has done everything humanly possible according to whatever the law says or whatever we can do to take care of these children. We don't want our children coming to school not prepared. We provide hygiene kits, we provide pants, shirts, socks, underwears, school supplies, shoes, all of the things that we can afford or we can buy with the funds, we provide these things. We would be amazed of the children that don't know where they will sleep tonight. You would be amazed. We have children that we call it doubling up. These are the children that may be living with their aunts or living with their sister or the grandmother. That's considered doubling up. That makes that child or the children eligible. In the care, I left leaving some forms that if you have any children that you're aware of that's living like this, we want you to refer them to us and immediately we will see about them. I was hired part-time from retirement to assist Ms. Darian, and I did something similar when I worked in Hampton 2. I did something similar to this. And we made sure every child that's on our list have been served. If one came in today, we served that kid right then. We have children that's 17, 16, 17, we don't know where their parents are, they don't know where their parents are. That child comes in alone, and yes, alone. And when they do, they live with somebody, but they come in as to represent themselves. We provide for these children. We've had a child that was actually living in a boat, sleeping in a boat. And when we were giving out supplies, the child really wanted the, backpack or sleeping bag. And we did that. And when I just questioned the child, I just wanted to know what was really going on. When I heard, immediately you want to find out where your sister sleep. Everybody does it. Some people actually fall on hard times. But we are here to assist them. It could be a burnout. It may be that they've been evicted, subsidized homes. We are striving to recommend them and send them to the resources where they need to go to get done. So the child, when they walk into that classroom, that child can feel, I can do it. If we never stigmatize the kid, like bringing things in, taking them out and bringing bags, 2 of them, we don't do that. It's very discreet. And when it's done this way, even I have actually, on my way home, go by home and just drop the things off. Because parents working can't come in, So when my coming today is to make certain that you're aware of what we are doing. And if you're aware of anybody that need our services, we have the phones over there. Please don't hesitate. I'm excited about the job. My job is ended, but I'm just excited because we've helped so much so quick, And thank you for having me.
How many did you say you were serving now?
Right now, it's 150. She wrote it down right before.
And that's what area?
That's the entire district.
Okay.
Yes.
You don't know how many.
That's all of our schools.
You don't know how many you're serving in Hampton County?
No, that's all of them. That's all of the entire district. We're
Well,
not separated anymore, remember?
So,
Elementary children, there are
we have only one district now, and that's Hampton County. But what I'm saying is, in Hampton County, is that what you're saying? You're serving 150
Yes.
homeless kids in Hampton County?
right now.
Okay.
And homeless does not mean that they don't have a place to sleep tonight. It means that they're considered, like if the child is living with the grandmother, that's considered doubling up. That makes that child eligible for it. Foster children are not, because they have other funds. So we don't serve foster children. We only serve children where the situation is just not adequate for that child to be in a learning environment the next day.
And you mentioned, on the agenda, it mentions that you are asking us to appoint a representative?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
We would love to have you when we have our meetings, so you can have your input in what we are planning, our plans.
It
Is there any words?
doesn't have to be a council member, just a representative, appointed by council?
Yes, it can be.
Okay.
Yes.
We thank you for your report.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question that I want to ask. How closely do y'all work with the school social worker?
We do.
Okay.
When we do intake, like have a child come in, because you can normally tell right then. On the form that we have, it shows where they're referred. And sometimes they don't know that they're being referred, and something is printed out and sent to the office, and when it does, I get it, and then I call that parent to let them know that they've been identified for assistance, and I'm gonna tell them about the program, and if they're interested, then we make an appointment for them to come in. Then we serve them.
Any other questions for, Mr. Austin, I believe you had a question?
Yeah, I got a question. I just had a quick question for her about how we could refer children to her services from the emergency room. I mean, we see a lot of disadvantaged children, a lot of children come in with their grandparents and things like that.
Yes, sir. I'm moving around, you moving around. You know what, I am going to get you certain that the hospital gets this, because our thing that they want is that we make everybody aware of. And I will get you to refer homes, I will get you the same thing that I brought to them tonight, I will get it to you.
Great, thank you.
And thank you.
Thank you so much. That brings us down to item 8.6, Emergency Services Director, Ms. Chris Altman. Response to public comments, update on ambulance status. I think Mr. Osborne asked the questions last meeting, and I told him we'd try to get back to him.
Good evening.
Good evening.
How you?
Let me get all the quick stuff here.
Good evening.
I'm getting old. All right, first off, I'd like to start off, council after Dr. Osborne's presentation a couple of weeks ago asked me to put some data together and exactly what it is we're doing. First off, I'd like to say Dr. Osborne is 100% correct. We do need a way in this county to quickly move critical patients from Hampton Regional Medical Center to the designated facilities. Unfortunately, that's been a problem since 1992 when I first came to Hampton County, and we've tried to tackle it multiple ways. When I came back as a director, my predecessor had a zero transport policy. Hampton County just did no transports from the facility, which is in the DHEC 61 guidelines that's right. I was uncomfortable with that. There's just that certain times where that patient's got to go, and regardless of what it is. So we changed up our policy here, and what we'll do is based on staffing levels, number of available units, weather conditions, whatever the case may be. If we can assist the hospital, we assist the hospital. If we can't, when they call, we tell them we just don't have anything available. I'm going to quote right here out of a regulatory agency. Meaning, quote, each hospital should initiate in advance transfer agreements with an ambulance company able to provide the appropriate level of staffing and equipment required. These private companies may be under contract or used on a fee-for-service basis. Government-based emergency services are sometimes used as interfacility transports, though significantly less often. When using the 911 system, scarce resources that are used for transport may be unavailable for an emergency call, while planning and real-time management can reduce the effect on response times. The undeniable potential still precludes the use of 911 services. End of quote. Now, my thing is, I agree with that wholeheartedly up to a certain point. But if we have resources available, if we have the capability and the 911 call volume allows us, we go to the hospital and help whenever we can. All right? Based on that, and like I said, Dr. Osborne is 100% correct. Hampton County has reached out in different ways. Approximately, I guess 5 years ago, the gentleman that was going to be here, ironically, was on an emergency transport outside of the county going to a designated facility. We reached out to some private transport agencies. Those agencies met with Hampton Regional, tried to do some contracts, and the contract basically was going to give Hampton Regional an ambulance there 24/7 to cover their transports and those type of things. He will be available tomorrow if you have any questions, but I hope he would be here tonight, but it was unavoidable. Additionally, with that, once those fell through, we reached out to the administrator and we made an offer. Hampton County MS basically proposed to Hampton Regional Medical Center staff of putting up a 4th ambulance in Hampton County because we currently have 3 covering 911. With that, we would hire 6 additional employees. We asked that the hospital reimburse the county for those 6 employees since they were on a transport truck for the hospital, and then Hampton County in turn would provide the ambulance, the supplies, the fuel, everything else to make the truck run. We were told by Hampton County staff that that would be a no-go because of the cost. Running an ambulance is expensive. It costs us about $500,000 per year per unit in Hampton County. When we first went to 3 units, we averaged about 2,800 calls a year. We still only have 3 911 units, and we average about 3,800 calls a year. We're on track this year to break over 4,000. We're at 3,200 already. It's just October. Pulled some data after the last council meeting. On January 1st to September 19th of this year, Hampton County EMS has responded to Hampton Regional Medical Center 188 times to responses involving hospital patient transports. In addition, we took 47 direct transports to other facilities by EMS from scenes. That's basically, we get on a scene, we work really well with Dr. Osborne, and if we're possible, for example, say a stroke, if there's no aircraft available, if we call for the aircraft, it's not available, that patient still needs to be in a definitive care center, or whether it's a STEMI or a bad heart attack. And then, if we can, we run by ground to those units, and then it takes us about 3 hours to get there, turn around, get back, get the truck back in service. So we are doing everything we can, but I do agree with him. There's a way out there to get these patients out rapidly, but that burden under regulations falls on Hampton Regional, and I, as a director for Hampton County EMS, is willing to work with them in any way that we can, but there are costs associated with that. And it seems like he did say they had a couple of contracts, and if your contracts you have aren't able to fulfill the contracts, we probably should look elsewhere if I was the hospital, and I'm certainly willing to work with them, but it would take action from county council too, for us to hire 6 more employees if we can find them. There's such a shortage across the nation of paramedics. Any questions?
I think Dr. Osborne mentioned something last time when he was here that we had voted to deny including some. I don't ever recall voting to deny putting a unit in.
No, sir. It never made it here. When we did that presentation up there, we were told in the conference room, myself and 2 of the supervisors, because of the cost of the salaries of 6 employees, that would be a no-go.
I don't.
I was referring also to, I think that the other thing that I was alluding to was there was some question as to whether or not council had approved the money to replace the damaged ambulance.
But I was thinking you said that we had denied allowing a unit to be brought in or something like that.
No, that was about the replacement for this current unit that was taken out of service.
Okay. I just wanted to clear that up because I didn't recall voting against
Yes,
that.
sir, I can clear that up for you. So we just recently got our settlement from the insurance company. We have not received the money yet. We just transferred the titles last week, I believe, going through that process. Don't quote me on the exact figure. I think we got $58,000 out of an upside-down ambulance with a stretcher that we won that cost $150,000. But when we discussed that, the administrator said something to me during the budget process. There was no need to take action at that time. We know that we have the insurance money coming in. Council's familiar with how we do the ambulance purchases. Once I get that $58,000, we can then order the new ambulance. That'll be the down payment. We normally finance it for 3 or 4 years, and we'd be off and running. There would be no delay, so there's no need to actually lock all that money into a budget during that budget process.
Also, Mr. Altman, would you clarify, I believe it was brought up by Mr. Osborne as well, about a ambulance unit that we had donated to us?
Yes, sir. So we had a unit that's about 20 years old donated to us. It was actually a truck that had been transformed into a public relations type truck. They'd taken all the internal components out, put TV screens in it, and they went around and did PI events and things like that, PR events with it. We had an opportunity after we brought the aircraft to this county. That truck had been set and hadn't been cranked for 4 or 5 years. They asked if we want it. We said, yeah. Our intentions were, excuse me, we're going to secure some grant money. We're going to make a mobile command center out of it for the emergency management side eventually. But once we got it back here, we did float the idea of using it for an ambulance. However, after meeting with DHEC, it would cost more than a brand new truck would cost to get it back to those conditions because the regulations have changed so much over the years.
And could you also explain to those that may not know the importance of a mobile command unit?
So, I'll give you a good example of it. Thursday night, myself, Mr. Corbin back there, and Mr. Watson got the honor of spending 24 hours in the boss swung in, spending 24 hours in the Emergency Operations Center so that everybody could sleep safely as we watched this thing go by us. About 2 a.m. it changed directions. That also happens to us quite often in the field. We had an overturned tanker a few years back between us and Waldeboro. Myself and the chief wound up setting on the hoods of our trucks about 2 miles apart, directing traffic while this tanker was overturned, leaking in the swamp. We set up the emergency dams and had to wait on crews to come out of Spartanburg. And the mobile command center just makes it better than us sitting on the hood of a car, standing there doing like this as trying to slow people down as they go through when we got gasoline spilling in the swamp. It could be used for the tornado systems. We move the Ford Command Center to the Esco Fire Station. Mobile command centers go wherever we need. That basically would give Ms. Peoples and the command staff the ability to go anywhere in the county, set up cameras, and run an operation.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Yes, I want to ask, Mr. Altman, do you know of any transfer agreement resources available?
The last one that we broke the meeting with, and I wish he was here. John Lawson's now a supervisor for Hampton County EMS. He's an EMS director with about 20 years of experience with a rescue squad, which is designed for doing these type transfers. We also reached out to another one. I'm not going to leave their name out, but they just flat told us no, they wasn't going to put in a proposal. But like I said, I agree with Dr. Osborne 100%. If it's my family members up there, or your family members, or somebody I don't even know, one of these children that Ms. Priester was talking about, Lord forbid, we need a way to quickly get them out of here. Unfortunately, the reality of 911 is, if I send a truck to MUSC, if I have all 3 trucks available, 5 minutes later we get a structure fire where the firefighter's going to be after about 4 hours. Well, guess what? They can't do structural firefighting without an ambulance designated to that scene setting out there in the parking lot. Now I'm down to 1 ambulance trying to cover a county that 3 ambulances can barely keep up with.
Now, what happens in the instance, and we do see this, we have 3 ambulances on duty, and 2 of them are deployed on scenes, and then the hospital needs an emergency transport.
Tell them no. Even if one of them's deployed on the scene and we only have 2, that's a no, because the next 911 call, the truck from this side of the county is going now. The 3rd truck setting all the way over in Yemassee may have to run all the way to Garnet. And we stay under the national average in our response time, but that would make it impossible. We are a ALS licensed pre-hospital 911 service. ALS is advanced life support. All of our units are equipped with advanced life support level, so it doesn't really matter which truck gets which call where, but it's based on the resources. What do we have available? Other times, without saying, we'll be standing by for law enforcement. There are mornings my office staff is blowing up my phone because I've got a call at 3 o'clock in the morning, and as a tactical medic, I'm with the U.S. Marshals and our Sheriff's Department somewhere in the county, and then hopefully I show up at the office by 12 in the morning and we're done. Those resources are used all over the place. And like I said, if we can help the hospital, we tell them yeah. If we can't, we tell them no. But the citizens do deserve a way out. And if there's anything we can do with helping the region or helping them get to that, we will.
Well, I would like to expand too and say, I've seen relations, and particularly during the coronavirus, the hospital and the emergency services have worked well together, and so hopefully this is an issue that we can work together to resolve somehow.
Yes, sir. Like I said, if we can help them, we help them. If we can't, we can't. We have two different perspectives. I'm going to use an example. If we roll in there with an OB patient, see that reaction? So the nurses are going to meet us at the back door with OB workers doing that. Because I'm required to take that OB patient under DHEC Regulation 61.7 to the closest appropriate facility. So if I pick this patient up in Estill and their OBGYN is in Colleton, that's where I'm going. But if my truck is up here headed to MUSC, now I can't send that truck out of this county. Guess who gets that OB patient? So it's a different perspective. And just to let you know, I'll use our stroke program that we work with the hospital. The hospital got stroke designation because they piggybacked off of EMS a couple of years ago. We're actually up for renewal. We do a very good job of getting strokes out here. I can literally take Tyrone and go to a stroke right now. And if I do not go to the hospital, have it in a trauma center or designated stroke facility ready for whatever care they need in about 45 minutes. When I get caught in those situations, and I cannot do that ground transport, and I take it to Dr. Osborne, it will take them hours because of regulations. They got to do a CT scan, they got to do this, they got to do that, and it delays that patient's definitive care. So it is important that there's a way to get these patients out of there quickly.
Right, and that's the problem. That's what prompted our discussion 2 weeks ago, right? Was this patient came in, they had a stroke, they had a bleeding stroke, which we can't do anything for. If you have an ischemic stroke where you have a blood clot or something like that, then we can give you TPA, which is definitive treatment, and then but we can't manage after that. We have to get these patients out of here.
And it came in by car. We didn't miss a bleed.
Right, yeah.
We're really good about catching it.
Yeah. But that's the problem. We have to keep the stroke certification for the county, and that's a very prestigious thing, and we're going to do like that 8 times out of 10. And we have them ready to go normally before that.
And to expand on that stroke program, in my travels around the state, both the Hampton Regional Hospital and the Hampton EMS have been used as reference points on how people should be handling the strokes in their counties. So that just goes to show how well the two entities have worked together to achieve this, and I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir, and that's a piggyback off of Hampton being selected because of her proactiveness by State of South Carolina to pilot that program, and we got to telehealth in. And just so the public's got an idea what we're talking about, MUSC's got issues right now.
Right.
Some hospitals are not. We go to a stroke patient. We turn on camera system. I got the chief neurologist or whoever's on call at MUSC in the back of my truck looking at the patient, and the paramedics are doing assessments and stuff, and we make that determination. And if it's a large vessel occlusion, we're going straight to the designated facility. Hopefully by aircraft. If it's bad weather, guess how it's going. That's one of those direct transports we were talking about. And the hospital's also in that loop, so we're all looking. I think our record is 41 minutes from 911 call to patient in Charleston. We actually beat Charleston County but everything has to be in place. And that's what I said, Dr. Osborne's correct. This is very important. The county 911 system with proper resources can answer that problem. But that's going to be about $500,000, and we may offer a proper type of cost absorbing by both facilities, or whether it's a private transport. Ideally, there should be an ambulance setting there. If we're running a private ambulance company correctly, I'm guessing this contract says, well, that ambulance goes somewhere, another one's coming to set the parking lot while it's gone. It should be a revolving door. And if it's not, we'll do anything to help them get that contract or position emergency services to try to help. They do deserve a way out.
We do have 2 contracts with 2 companies, but our volumes are such that it doesn't make sense for them to keep an ambulance there. Which then, when it's an emergent, time-sensitive transfer like this, it's hard to get them there.
Any other questions?
Is the Hampton Regional, is it a private hospital? State-run or private?
It's not funded by the government.
Yeah, not-for-profit.
Correct. It's a not-for-profit. We don't get any funds from the county. We don't get any state funds.
Okay. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question I would like to ask.
Okay.
To both of you. And being that I serve on the hospital board, and we've had this conversation, and I did share with the CEO that there need to be some dialogue, some more conversation on this here. With that being said, with the 2 of you all up there, and from different perspectives, one with the county, one with the hospital, how would you resolve an issue like this? What, from a county standpoint, what our funding look like, and our capabilities, and the hospital also. What would be the best way to resolve this issue? Because it is an issue, and a serious issue, important issue.
With the resources, certainly can provide these transports and have an ambulance ready at all times, with 4 units up and running, not 3. Assuming I can get paramedics, because most of the transports need paramedics, and paramedics are a critical shortage, because hospitals are hiring paramedics and working on emergency rooms, paying twice what we can. But if we put a 4th unit in, we hired 6 personnel. That's about $500,000 a year. And that's the offer we basically made. They covered the 6 salaries, we covered the license, the insurance, the medical director, the fuel, the diesel, and the equipment that we use off the ambulance, and run it back and forth.
And you think that will resolve the issue that the hospital is having?
It would make it easy for me to provide a truck. So what we do is that ambulance would basically be the designated transport unit. So anytime the hospital had a call, and say Dr. Osborne has 2 that's going to Charleston, Dr. Osborne's going to call and say, whichever one's worse, you got to send that one first. You got your ambulance. So we dispatch it through 911. We certainly can house them within 2 or 3 miles of the hospital. When that truck's out the county, that truck's out the county. When that truck comes back, I would never send a crew, because Rose can tell you I've done this before. I made 6 trips to USC in 1 shift. It was horrible. I was the only paramedic in 2 counties.
Yeah. For those.
What I do is when that truck got back in the county, it frees us up to send one of our other ambulances, and that ambulance can now go set at those stations, make 911 calls to break up that 3-hour turnaround on stuff. It would allow us to put a truck in for hospital transport, and based on our current call volume, I think we'll be fine with that. And if it's not on transport, and Dr. Osborne's up there pulling one of his 24-hour shifts sleeping, then that truck can go into the 911 rotation. But one of the 4 trucks would be available when the hospital call. But like I said, it's going to be about $500,000.
Yeah, and the reason I said it because several years ago we had issues with EMS. How we was going to operate and all, and the question that council came back to you, Mr. Altman, was fix it.
Yeah.
Okay, we said fix it, and so yeah, and you did fix it. You fixed it, to accommodate what council had envisioned. So now, here we have another issue with the hospital, which I think is a critical area, and we need to fix this. We need to resolve this issue to where it doesn't become an issue anymore. And I think that we have some highly intelligent people, you know, working, you know, in this county, and that this here, to me, if we could send a rocket out of space, not landed, and hit an asteroid, and move it an inch or two from Earth. You mean to tell me we can't handle something like this here?
We can. It's, you know, I tell people all the time, it's nothing that money won't fix.
So,
And then,
yeah. So I think that it can be resolved. I think that if the county, you know, such as yourself, with the hospital, get together and come up with a good plan, and, you know, cost, money is always a factor. We always have to factor that in. But I think that it can be resolved.
I'd be glad to come up with a plan to present to the
Yeah.
hospital because, you know,
Be-
I really
Yeah.
can't.
Because the bottom line is you're dealing with people's lives.
And I can't, I'm not familiar with the ER data, but what I shared with you is we went from 2,800 calls to 3 ambulances to about 3,800 calls, and we're gonna break 4,000 this year with those same 3 ambulances. And I'm assuming their hospital patients have picked up too, so, you know, the day
You
may
better
not
bring them
count.
all to me. You better bring them all to me. Except for OB
You know,
patients.
the time is here, and we're certainly capable of handling it, given the correct resources to do so. There are private agencies that can handle it, but they're,
And
I'll let them say.
our first, you know, we understand 911 is not for transports. But when you've got somebody who's got blood in their head, and I can't get an ambulance, can't fly because of weather,
Sure.
we gotta get this person somewhere else. I think, you know, Dave and I have spoken about this before, you know, and I said, why don't we just do it on our own? You know, and he talks about $500,000, that's, you know, by the time we get our own ambulance and all that stuff, it's $1.2 million, and clearly the hospital doesn't have that, kind of money. You know that.
Sure, absolutely.
So I think, again, it needs to be a partnership thing. I think what Chris talked about is if we could somehow magically figure out a way to bring a 4th ambulance in, that would help 911 runs and allow the flexibility for us to try to use it, again, as a last resort. I'd much rather fly these patients. But
And myself and Dr. Osborne are like the pinballs here. So if we truly want to look at EMS taking over the transports and putting in that 4th truck for doing so, instead of me and him running back and forth to his board and this board, you know, I would recommend that we maybe take a couple of council members, a couple of board members, a couple of subject matter experts, and let's sit down and kick the can around and see what we come up with. But just know that we're based on his availability, we're doing the best we can with him. But I cannot not answer 911 calls.
Well, I would like to say, I think you're on the right path there, and we're all working toward the same goal. We just got to figure out how to get there. I think y'all can put a plan together. It's no secret, Councilman Alexander and I have been very adamant about wanting an additional ambulance for the county services. So I look forward to seeing what y'all can bring to us and present to us.
Folks, unless we have some urgent questions, we need to go ahead and wind this one down.
thank you, gentlemen.
We thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming. We thank you so much. That brings us down to item 8.7, Emergency Management Director, Mrs. Suzanne Peoples. Report on storm. Ms. Peoples, please. Good evening.
Good afternoon.
Good evening.
I'll make it in a hurry. Thank you all for asking me to give you an update. Hampton County, once again, God was with us. We did not receive any effects from the disaster. We really stayed in close contact with Yemassee because of the flooding down that way, and we did not have any flooding down there. This morning on the county conference call, Georgetown had reported $48 million in damage so far, and they were still assessing the damage. Reminding you that the threshold for the state is $9 million
$59,612.25. Hampton County's threshold is $82,410.84, and that is based on a population of 18,561 people. These thresholds have to be met and come up with $9 million in order for the state to receive a federal declaration to receive any reimbursement. The first thing that we put out last week when we started this was try not to spend anything. It had to be absolutely necessary, and we kept that cost very, very low. We did? Okay, okay. So anyway, but we got along very good. Like Chris said, he and Mr. Tom and Tyrone spent the night, Thursday night, and then we dismissed the fire department at 7 o'clock on Friday morning, and we all went, the rest of us went home at 10:30 on Friday morning and had a good weekend. And everybody around us, Beaufort County, had no damages to report, and so we once again have fared very well with a very, very low cost.
We thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. It's okay?
Yeah.
So how much did it actually cost us during this hurricane that we actually spent on this hurricane as for, assistance, or you said rocks? How much did it cost us? Mhm. But we should be able to cover that because of yeah. Oh, okay. But we should be able to cover that because of what we had put in place for. Right, exactly, right.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
That's right. There's
So,
funds in the budget for that.
but we did not.
Those
But
rocks shouldn't be over. I don't think they're over $2,000.
yeah, but
I
it
think-
but it
probably
is
think
certain.
less than that.
But it is certain that we do not have 48 million.
But no, sir. No, sir. But
Okay.
Georgetown County
And
reported
you could
$48
imagine what
million.
that could have done, for the county.
And believe it
for
or
us to
not,
have to
Charleston
cover
County
that.
didn't have that much. They're still assessing, but they do not anticipate very much damage at all. Yes.
But that's something that we can cover.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Brings us down to item 9, appointments. We have no appointments this evening. Item 10, ordinances. 10.1, third reading of ordinances. We have no third readings. 10.2, second reading of ordinances. We have no second readings. 10.3, we have no first reading of ordinances. Item 11, bids. We have no bids this evening. Item 12, council briefings. 12.1, chairman's update. If I had one, I don't think I'd give it to you, but I don't have one this evening. Item 12.2, county attorney's update.
Nothing recent since our last meeting.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Item 12.3, clerk's update. Brings us to item 13, reports to council. 13.1, administrator's report. 13, excuse me.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, having the introduction of our new recreation director, Mary Beth Myers, Mary Elizabeth Myers, excuse me. I've called her Mary Beth for a very long time. I'd like to say, I think we've been criticized for not hiring anyone that had a degree in sports, and Ms. Mary Beth has a master's, and has actually conducted work in other places. I'd like for her to tell you a little bit about what she's done and what she's going to do.
Yes, Mr. Councilman, council, staff, and guests, thank you for having me tonight. So I've had a lot of experience lately. I graduated with my bachelor's in sport management in 2021, and then I went on and got my master's in organizational leadership, and I just graduated from there in 2022. And since then, I've had a big internship in Columbia at Swedish Shoals Park, which is one of the recreations that they have. They have like 6 in Columbia. and I've got some experience with coordinating and learning how they operate their complexes there. They're big for their soccer complex. From there, I went to Aiken, and I worked for the city of Aiken, and I was an athletic program coordinator for Citizens Park in Aiken. And from there, I was able to, they gave me soccer, so I was able to coordinate that and work with the public and also see how the city is ran there. And so now the opportunity was given to me to come back to Hampton. I have always lived here with my parents, and I went to school here, played sports through here. I played sports at the recreation, all of that. And so I thought it was very important, and I thought it was my goal and my duty to come back to Hampton and get this recreation department back under control and to bring positivity and to give the chance and opportunity to the kids now growing up to have the experience that I got when I was little. Because right now it's just not there, and I want to see it. And I did give you a proposal that I have written on a dissertation from my master's program in June, and hopefully I can come back and talk a little bit more about that to you. But from that, one of my biggest goals is I want to unite Hampton County. There's too many groups, I guess you could say, in Hampton County. Like you have a soccer league here, you have football here, you have baseball. And my biggest thing is all sports are important. It's not all about baseball. It's not all about basketball. It's not all about soccer. It's about all of the kids in Hampton County. And it's not just the kids. Right now I have created a partnership with the senior program at Council on Aging. And Thursday is actually our first day where they're going to bring their seniors, and the seniors that come to see us at the recreation, they are going to do nutrition Thursday, and then they have other programs. So we're getting more partnerships with people out. I have also talked with Dr. Wilcox, the superintendent, and we are focusing on getting back into schools and trying to get those kids to come do programs with us. Some of the programs that I am working on is pickleball and kickball. I think that will open up for adults to come back to the recreation as well. We're not having that many programs for the adults, and I just think it's a lot harder for them because of work and everything. But I'm also working to bring a special needs program here. I really want to see buddy walks and all kinds of events. We have a Halloween festival that we're fixing to prepare for at the end of this month. I would love to see everybody there. It's October 27th from 6 to 9, and we'll have a trunk or treat and a haunted house and all of that good stuff. And then we'll have more events for holidays. So Christmas comes, we're doing a big winter wonderland. So we just have a lot of good things coming up for the recreation. I know there's a lot going on, but the biggest thing is to bring change and good change. My goal right now is I have 2 great coworkers, and they are behind me and behind the goals, and they have the same ideas as I do. And I just think it's important that we start with the resources we have and then grow from there. And hopefully I can reach out and to the community, because I really want everybody to become under one Hampton County instead of everybody being separated. And I think that's the biggest problem we have here is everybody is separated and only focused on one thing when we should be focused on everybody in the city of Hampton. So, yeah.
Well, young lady, welcome back home.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. That brings us down to item 14, executive session 14.1. We have a personal matter we need to discuss. Do we have a motion that we go into executive session?
So moved.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and properly seconded that we go into executive session. All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Opposed likewise. The ayes have it. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would excuse us for a little while, we'll be in executive session. It shouldn't be really a long time.